Welcome to the fifth episode of the Where Song podcast, hosted by Chandler Dantzler. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and watch on YouTube. Today we have rising senior outfielder Nick Cucchi. We're pumped to have you on the show.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Yep. Before we start, I'd like to ask this question. Who is Nick Cucchi for the people that don't know?
Man, definitely more than a baseball player. I love to play guitar and hang out with my friends and family. And obviously I love baseball too, so that's a that's a must. But
Yep.
yeah.
All right, let's talk about your high school season with A3 Academy national team. You played against Florida JUCOs, other academies, and faced many top high school pitchers. You batted third in the lineup. You had an impressive season with an average of 368, OPS of 1,072, 42 hits, 31 RBIs, 3 home runs. Can you share more about your experience and the performance you had during the season?
Yeah, for sure. One thing I will say is at A3, the best thing about it is the JUCO reps and how many games we play against JUCOs, just because like the competition level before we get to college, it just prepares you so much better for the next level than, high school. And high school does prepare you well, especially in Florida, because there's a lot of good Florida high schools. But just getting those college reps, especially against like 95 plus, like we were seeing 94, 95, like we were seeing that a lot.
Yes,
And that's just something that, you don't really see that much in high school.
for
And
sure.
so it's just amazing to get a lot of those reps and prepare well. And yeah, man, it's just a lot of fun. Like obviously there's struggles that come with that too, because it's a little bit different, like playing guys that are 22, 23, especially with these COVID years, they could be really old.
Yeah.
Um, but it's great to get that experience before we go to college. And that's what I really love about A3 is that we get that opportunity.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Do you have any specific play you made this season that you'd like to talk about?
Oh man, a specific play. Um, so I don't know, man. That's a hard one. So we had runners on, I think, first and second, and a guy lays down a bunt. And our pitcher, this didn't involve me. I just thought this
Uh-huh.
was crazy. Our pitcher goes running in to get it. And so does our second baseman. And our second baseman calls our pitcher off. And the pitcher doesn't stop and he just keeps running. And the second baseman slams head first into the pitcher. And the guy goes spinning.
Jeez.
And he like went flying. And everyone was like, oh man, is he all right? He ended up having a concussion.
Oh,
And
dang.
we were at IMG Academy. We're playing a team on their side field from Canada. And he was like out. He had to sit in the shade while they waited for people to like drive him to the hospital. But that's the only thing I could think of because that's just a crazy play that happened. Not a
That's
very good one. He ended up being okay, but
that's
uh,
good.
he spun like a top, so we called him Spinny for a while.
That's funny. All
Yeah, it
right.
was.
You talked about you faced good pitchers playing JUCOs and top high school arms. Who's the best pitcher you faced this season with the A3 Academy?
Man, okay. So we faced I forget his name, but he goes to College of Central Florida, CF, and he's committed to South Carolina, but he's probably getting drafted this year. Very high chance. He's got 3 slots. So he's got a high slot, like a medium slot, and like a sidearm slot. And he's got a 3 pitch mix from each slot. And
Jeez.
so like I think he's 96, 94, and then like 92. But you never know which one he's
Which
gonna
slot is
come.
doing?
Yeah. And then there's 3 pitches at each slot. So you have no clue what he's throwing. And everything goes like this.
Yeah,
So that's
that's
definitely the best
electric.
pitcher. Definitely the best pitcher we face. Charlie Soto. We gotta have I think I had 4 at bats off him this year. So that's 100, sitting
Yeah.
100 or sitting 90, like 8 to 100. So it's really good. And this one guy, I also don't remember his name because the JUCO guys, uh, it's just hard to remember all their names.
Yeah.
But He had this crazy, insane, he played for Lake Sumter. He had this insane curveball that dropped. It was crazy. Like it would start at your chest and be at your feet. And you're just like, what in the world is going on right now? Like,
Mm-hmm.
why is this kid playing at a JUCO? But they're good players, so
Yeah.
it's really good. It's really good baseball.
All right. Can you walk us through the difference between an academy team and a high school team?
Yeah. So, with the academy, we do get to recruit because we're not a part of like FHSAA or high school like association.
Yeah.
So we do get to recruit. And what goes along with that is like everyone at the academy is there to take it super seriously, do their reps, get their work done. Um, and it's really nice. Like, I'm not saying that that's not the case at high schools, but lots of times, you got guys that go through the motions and things like that. Like at
Uh-huh.
A3, a lot of us are, well, most of us, I would say, are super focused on getting better at practice, in the weight room. And that's a great thing to be surrounded by other people who have the same goals as you
Yeah, for
because it
sure.
pushes you to be better too. So that's what I really like about A3 and the fact that we get to do school online. So it
Yeah.
frees up a lot of our day and we actually practice during the day and then spend the time that, guys would be at practice like later. We get to
Uh-huh.
spend that after school and it goes at our own
Gotcha.
pace too. So you're never overloaded with all this homework and then you can't focus on baseball.
Uh-huh.
It's very manageable. And it's like college, you get to work around your schedule. So it's really good. I like it a lot.
That's
A3
awesome.
A3's definitely recommend it for anyone watching who is thinking about it. 100%. 100%.
Gotcha. All right. Many high school teams have 2 to 3 teams. How many teams does A3 Academy have in their program?
Um, three. Well, it's really four, but I would say three, just because. So we have a JV. Well, we call it varsity. We have a varsity two, a varsity one, and then a post grad team, and then we have our national team. But lots of times when we're playing JUCOs, most of those post grad team guys play with national just because they're older, they have experience,
Yeah.
and they're trying to get committed.
Uh-huh.
So when we're playing JUCOs, typically that's where those post grad guys are going to go. So we get them a ton of reps against the JUCOs. So it's 3 teams, well, 4 teams, but a lot of the guys intermingle between teams. So like my sophomore year, I would mix between national and varsity one just
Gotcha.
because I needed more reps and I wasn't getting all the reps on national,
Uh-huh.
just because there was older guys. And so yeah, 3, 4 teams depending on who you are and what you do.
Yeah, gotcha. All right. Let's talk about your goals. What are your upcoming goals for your senior year?
Man, uh I would say so last year's goal for this past year was to cut down on strikeouts. And I did that. And that was something that I really was trying to do because, when you're striking out a lot, you're not putting the ball in play, you're not even giving yourself a chance to get a hit.
Yeah.
Um, and so next year, I think to build on that is I want to make as much hard contact as possible. Not that I didn't do that this year, but um, that's always just a goal. It's like less production goals because if you're not meeting a certain production, then you kind of get in your head and things like that.
Yeah.
Things that are manageable and things that you can really control, and that is putting barrel on ball hard. So I think that's gonna be my goal for this year. I want to hit a couple more home runs, but you can't really think about hitting home runs because
Yeah.
then you know you're gonna do things that you're gonna do too much, and that's never good.
Yeah.
And especially with these JUCOs, like we're playing on like 410, 340 at the corners. Like we're playing on some pretty big fields. So balls that will be going out in high school are hitting the track. They called me WTP this year, warning
Mhm.
track pop, because I would keep hitting ground rule doubles, and I'm like, oh man. But but yeah, just getting bigger, stronger, faster. I want to get my 60 down a little bit. So yeah, those are my goals for this year.
There's some good goals.
Yeah,
All
man.
right. Let's discuss the relationships that can be formed just playing baseball.
Oh, it's crazy. it's cool how small baseball gets. The higher you get into it, like the older you get with travel ball and everything, like you've been playing with these guys at PG for years, and then you get to see them, and it's really cool because like we're all going to different colleges and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, so like getting to see guys that you played with playing in college and then getting to play against them, it's really cool. Um, it's a special thing for sure. Um, just building connections, and a lot of these friendships you make in high school are gonna last like a
Right.
while, especially like in the sport. I've met some of my best friends playing baseball, so it's awesome to, get to experience that.
Yeah, for sure. All
Yeah.
right. Let's talk about your travel ball. You play for a 2024 Gold Sculpture Scout. You guys have like 7 commits. Just talk about that team and how it's helped you become a better player.
Yeah. First thing I'm gonna say is I love my coaches. Coach Rossi and Coach Vaughn, they've been huge for me this past year. So I love those guys. They're awesome. And then just getting to play with, again, a lot of guys with the same goals and aspirations,
Uh,
mostly Power Five commits, legit team. It's just a lot of fun. And those guys, since I'm uncommitted now, those guys are getting me exposure because their schools are coming to see them and things like that.
yeah.
So it's really beneficial to me to play on a team like this. But it's also fun because we're good. So we typically go far in tournaments.
Yeah.
And it's like a brotherhood. Like I know the name is Gold Culture, but the culture that we have on the team is crazy. Like we all have this group chat where we do like a Bible study,
Uh,
and typically we'll send stuff every day, every other day, to kind of encourage each other. And I think that's something that's really special because a lot of teams don't have that, and we
yeah,
do.
for sure.
So, that's something that I value. So I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
All right. You guys just played your first tournament in the summer, the 17 UPG National Select Championship. You had a great tournament, batting 455, an OPS of 1200, 5 hits, 5 walks, 4 runs, 3 RBIs. Talk about that tournament and how you think you did.
Um, one thing I'll say about PG is you can definitely look better on paper than you really were.
For
They're
sure.
kind of leaning with some hits. I'm not saying I played bad. Um, but the averages and stuff, they kind of give you a hit here or there. But I felt pretty good. Um, in the beginning, because I'd taken a couple weeks off,
Uh,
not from just hitting, but just from seeing live, just to give myself a rest. I felt like my swing was getting a little loopy, but then I ended up fixing that towards the end, so that felt pretty good. Um, we didn't have most of our team for that tournament, so we ended up running out of pitching in the semifinals.
uh,
We were like just guys were going up there and just having to throw ephesus to end the game. So, but it was cool to see that our team could be successful, without everyone even there. So it's like, whoa, once we get all our guys, like this is gonna be legit.
yeah. All right.
Um,
What does this summer look like for the Gold Culture Scout team?
um, like for games, like what
Yeah,
games?
for like how many tournaments you guys have just the rest of the summer.
Yeah, so we got 3 more tournaments now. We go to Hoover July 1st, and then I think we're playing in the 18U National Select, or it might be the 18U World Series. It's one of those two, and then the big Hoover one for 2024s. So
Wow.
those are back to back. And then we go to not Lake Point, East Cobb for the
He's
WWBA.
come.
So obviously that's a huge one. So that'll
Yeah.
be super fun. I love playing in Atlanta because it's cool. Like you see all the boys, everyone's there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what we have for goal culture for the summer.
All right, gotcha. All right, you already talked about your goals for your senior year. What are your goals for the rest of the summer?
Oh man, just keep getting exposure. Um, I got area codes this weekend, so obviously to make that, that'd be pretty big. Yeah, just I mean, I'm uncommitted now, so keep getting college exposure, keep getting pro exposure, obviously, because the goal is to get drafted eventually,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's in high school or out of high school or out of college, the goal is to get drafted. Um, so yeah, just keep getting that pro exposure, which I do have a little bit of that. That's why another reason why A3 is great is because
Mm-hmm.
you're getting pro exposure too. Um, But yeah, man, eventually I'm hoping to commit by the end of the summer,
Yeah.
before signing day. So we'll see what happens. We'll see where I land.
All right. You already talked about how you decommitted on June 1st, 2023. You decommitted from the University of South Florida. Just talk about the decision and why you made it.
Um, it was a very hard decision to make. I'd been committed there almost 2 years, and you build relationships with other commits and stuff like that during that time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't an easy decision to make. It wasn't rash either. I definitely had to, think and consider and pray about it and talk to my advisors and people that, are really helping me with these decisions. Um, what ended up happening was the recruiting coordinator and then some other guys that were really big in my recruiting there at USF. One of them retired and two of them got let go. They got fired. And so after that, it was kind of like, well, to ensure my career, these different things, it's better to open up and see what there is out there. Not saying I'll never go to USF or I won't go there. Like, I'm keeping them in mind with this for sure. And they kept, their side on the table, which I'm really appreciative of them for, because the way Coach Mole, the head coach, handled it, like, was next level. Like, it was awesome. And I'm really appreciative to him for that, because he could have completely wrote me off and,
Yeah.
it could have been like that, but it wasn't at all. It was understanding, and he completely gets it. And that's awesome. So I really respect him for that. I already did, but like now it's like one other level.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely gonna consider them still in this, but it's just better for me to, see what's out there, see, what I have for myself. And it's been good so far. It has.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. How did you get recruited to UCF? Did they see you in a camp or did they see you in game?
Oh, so my freshman year, one of their pitchers, Jack Siebert, was playing my team. I was at a high school then called Bishop McLaughlin. And I had a terrible game. I went over 3,
Uh-huh.
but I was still hitting the ball at guys, but Siebert kind of carved me up. But my attitude was good. And then I think it was the 7th inning, this game ended up going 9 innings.
Mm-hmm.
I threw a guy out at home from right field. And that would have ended up being like the winning run or
Uh-huh.
something like that. And the coach was like, oh, and I guess a couple months later, he had been seeing me more. So he started calling me. I went to a camp and I hit a home run there,
Mm-hmm.
in the like little live games they do.
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting my offer there. So that was pretty cool, getting an offer in person.
Yeah, that's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, it was sick. I ended up waiting a couple months, seeing what else, but then I ended up feeling like I really like the coaches. I really like the recruiting guys. And so that was why I made that decision. Um, so yeah, it definitely wasn't easy, leaving after 2 years.
Uh-huh.
And it's my hometown team. I'm from here. I'm from Tampa. And both my parents went to the school. So it was like, hey, I live 20 minutes away. My parents are here. I really like the coaches. They just won a super regional. So it was hype. It was really
Yeah.
cool. But yeah, that's what ended up happening for me.
Gotcha. All right, let's take it back to 2022. You got injured and were out for about 8 months. Can you walk us through what kind of injury it was and also talk about the recovery to coming back to normal?
Yeah, man. So really unfortunate. I am not like a main pitcher. I would just hop on the mound to have fun.
Uh-huh.
And I threw, so I don't know if I have a baseball. I don't, but all my friends would make fun of me for throwing this curveball, because I'd spike it and I would go like this.
Uh-huh.
But it was good pitch. It was a really good pitch. Um, but it was like the way I threw it, and I swore it was better for my elbow.
Uh-huh.
You Darvish throws it like this. Like, I promise it's better for your elbow. Like, all the Japanese guys do this. And I was at junior national and I was pitching, I was throwing my inning, and I just struck the first guy out, and I had a 2-2 count, I think, on the next batter.
Uh-huh.
And I threw it and it just went like a little like pop pop. Now it didn't hurt or anything, but I knew something was wrong, because like all through here went completely numb.
Uh-huh.
and just like staticky, like a TV static. And I was like, oh man, something's wrong. The guy ended up striking out. I don't know how I threw a strike, but I did. But like I knew my arm was wrong. So I was like, nah, I gotta hop off the mound.
Yeah.
I was freaking out. And I went to the trainer and he felt me up. He was like, you should be fine, but let's go to an orthopedic. Then the orthopedic was like, you should be fine, but let's get an MRI instead. He was like 95% chance you're supposed to be out for 2 weeks. And I was mad that I was gonna be out for 2 weeks during summer. Um, and then the MRI comes back and they're like, dude, it's completely off the bone. Like it had
Jeez.
completely dislocated from the bone. Like the ligament was good. It was just not where it's supposed to be.
Uh-huh.
And that ended up being good because I didn't have to get full Tommy John. I just got what's called UCL internal brace surgery.
Uh-huh.
So they do, instead of Tommy John, where they like take a separate tendon or ligament and then they try to put it on there. They took my ligament and then like a tape. It's not really tape, but they call it a tape. And then they sew it into the ligament and like attach it and then tack it. So it's
Gotcha.
not like I don't have to wait for that time for a tendon to become a ligament or whatever. It takes a while when you put something else in there.
Yeah,
It was my own ligament. So it cut the time down in half. So I
that's
ended up
good.
getting back super quick. Like I was back by high school season, like fully back. So that was great. Like I was super grateful and my surgeons were amazing. So it ended up going great. Like Perfect Game helped me a lot, like find the right guys.
That's
I
good.
was grateful to them too for that. So yeah, man, it all just ended up working the best possible scenario for that situation.
That's good. All
Yeah.
right. Can you talk about where you train at during the season or even in the off season?
Yeah. So I'm at Nicole Gabriel training for weightlifting,
Uh,
uh, for lifting weights and stuff. But the best part about that place is like I said, training around people like-minded. There's so many professional guys in there, like Randy Rosarena, Adolis Garcia, Jordan's in there, pitchers from the Yankees. Like there's so many guys who come in there. And you're just training like around them. And it's like,
mhm.
well, this is how the big leaguers train. And it's really cool. It was the first time was kind of surreal because I was like, whoa, like three big leaguers just walked in, like but it's really cool. Nicole's awesome. It's different than most programs because it's very, very baseball specific. So it's not like we're not benching or doing heavy squat. Like we're
Uh-huh.
doing a lot of compound sport specific movements, explosive stuff, med ball stuff. Like it's everything. We do speed training. Like it's great because you don't want to get super big and blocky. Like you want to stay
Yeah,
athletic.
for
And
sure.
that's her big thing. Nicole's awesome. She's great. So I love being in there. I'll stay in there for hours. Like I'll be done with my workout. Just be like, I just want to chill in here. It's a good vibe all the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like
That's
a
awesome. The train around those guys at this young age.
yeah,
All right.
definitely.
What motivates you to go to the gym every day and get that extra work in at the field?
Man, there's a lot of guys who are, blessed with like super amount of talent
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have to put as much work in to be as successful. And, that's something I see. And, I wasn't as good, like 12U, 13U, even 14U. Like I was not ever the best player. Like I really had to, work super hard in order to get to where I am. I'm not saying all these guys don't work hard. I bet they
Yeah,
do. But like there was always like a little bit of a gap. And I kind of had that chip on my shoulder where I was like, man, I gotta get work overtime in order to get better than them.
for sure.
And so, gradually, like if you just put that little bit every single day, like guys aren't doing that. Guys aren't doing the little things, and the little things add up over time. And
Sure.
eventually, like you'll be here and they'll be here at first, but then you keep doing the little things, and then you look back and like they're behind you, like
Behind you.
you're better than them now. And that's something that really does pay off. Like the working hard 100% like does pay off. It might not right now, but eventually it 100% does. Um, so that's kind of something for me that I've seen like those little things really do make a huge difference if you do them consistently. And
Yeah.
that's just a big thing for me. Yeah, 100%. Hard work, like the work ethic, like I don't want to brag, but like that is a big thing to me is not slacking.
Yeah.
Uh, so because if you do, then eventually you're
It's
gonna
gonna
get
show. Yeah.
it's eventually it will. So
All right. Let's kind of take it away from baseball here. What is your pregame artist before a game?
my pregame what?
Your pregame artist.
Uh I listen to a lot of music. Like I listen to like a little bit of R&B, obviously rap.
Uh,
I like country music a lot. Some like Raw and some Brent Fayez, a little bit to like mix in there.
uh,
Um, but pre-game, that's kind of hard. It really depends on how I'm feeling. Like if I'm feeling Future or if
mm-hmm.
I'm just chilling, listening to some country music. Um, I would say it really depends on the day and how I'm feeling that day.
Gotcha.
If it's early in the morning, I'll listen to country music because I don't want to get like all hyped up in the morning.
Yeah.
If it's later in the day, I'll probably listen to some rap music, some Future, some Drake. I love Drake. Drake's
Gotcha.
like Drake's like
He's
he's
good.
awesome. But yeah, that's a little bit of everything, but it really depends on what time of day and how I'm feeling.
Gotcha. All
Yeah.
right. What do you do in your free time outside of baseball?
All right. So I already said I love guitar. I have it over
Uh-huh.
there. That's something I love to do. Um, I I have a little brother and he's 6 and he plays t-ball.
Mm-hmm.
So in the fall when I had free time, I actually coached his t-ball team.
That's
And,
awesome.
coaching 6-year-old t-ball is kind of a pain because they're running around, sprinting around. They don't really know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Uh, but it was really cool to see the improvement that these kids had in like 2 months,
Mm-hmm.
just practicing like once a week with us and then practice having the games. Like they went from couldn't even like pick up the ball, I had no clue what I'm doing to like pick up the ball, throw it to first, like the first baseman will catch it, and everyone's like, oh, because they're young, but that was a lot of fun to do. Um, and other than that, I like to hang out with the family and friends, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah, simple, but that's what I like to do.
Gotcha. All right. What do you think Nick Cucci life's look like in about 8 to 10 years?
Hopefully playing pro ball, man. Hopefully playing pro ball. I guess
Uh-huh.
that's the obvious answer, but if not, I don't like to say if not because I want to say I am. Um, if not, hopefully got well, man, I probably already have like a family by then.
Yeah.
That's wild for now. Jeez. Um, if baseball doesn't work out, then I want to kind of get into the financial area.
Mm-hmm.
Um, hopefully be like a CFA or have my own like work under like a private equity kind of stuff like that. I like the financial side and like stocks and all those different things. So that's what I'm gonna go to school for, finance. So if baseball doesn't work out, then I want to, kind of get myself into that sort of sector of the economy. So I really like that.
Gotcha. All
Mhm.
right. Here's a tough question here. If you could pick one brand to be sponsored by, what brand would it be?
Chandler bats.
Chandler Bats.
I love Chandler bats. I got the first one last year, and I'll never use another wood bat. It's 100% the best wood bats. Well, in my opinion, but I love Chandler bats. Yeah, that's a good question.
All right, last question here. If you would give any advice to any young baseball player or any kid that doesn't play any sports, what would you say to them?
Oh man, a young baseball player. Just have fun. Like as soon as you take it too serious and then like get all inside your head, then it stops being fun. And the whole point of baseball is to have fun.
For sure.
Like, yeah, it's a business and like all these different things, but at the end of the day, it's a sport and it's a game, and it's really not that deep. It's not that serious. Just have fun with it. Like, especially if you're young, like I see all these parents, like when I was coaching that team, like all these parents taking it so seriously, being hard on their little kids. Like it's a game. Like
Yeah.
these guys are young, like just have fun. Like there's a time and a place for it to be serious and for it to be like a business. Like it's really important to take it serious when you're training, but when you're playing, like just have fun.
Yeah.
When you're having fun, you're loose, you're not thinking, you're not in your head. Like everything goes better when you are having fun. That's why I feel like a lot of players do so much better in travel ball than they do high school ball, because high school ball, you've got more pressure. Coach wants to win. Like it's not as fun. But when you get to travel, like everyone's playing around, having fun. You see your boys, like it's a
Yeah.
completely different vibe. And that's why I think summer ball's better. That's why summer ball is so much more fun. And it kind of makes sense. Like when you're having fun, you're playing better. So yeah, just 100% just have fun.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for coming on the show, and good luck with the rest of your summer and your senior year.
Thanks, man. Of course. I appreciate you having me on.
Yep.